Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Saturday afternoon. We have our alumni guests here with us today. Anis Sabrina, who is currently interning with Nestle and is a human resource graduate. She is also BAA's former club president. We also have Tunku Izmi, who is also working in Nestle and was IUMW Student Council's first ever woman president. She is a psychology graduate and also psychodynamics former club president. Finally, we have Daniel Abbas, who works in Selenol, a software company. He is a graduate from entrepreneurship, and he was also from the BA Club Committee, our former event manager. Welcome, our dear IUMW alumni. We are really glad and honored to have you here with us today. I am Ivelyn from BA team, and I will be your moderator today. Dear audience, please do stay on after the event. For us, we have a lucky draw winners announcement. Before we start, I have one question for you, alumni. Now that you have graduated, do you miss your university days? Any of you can start first.
Well, definitely, yes. If I could turn back time, I would say I would definitely go back to my university days. Right, guys?
Yeah, I would say I think the thing we miss the most about university is our friends. Definitely, I think a lot of us have started to do things, our own things, and we've kind of lost touch with a few, kind of drifted away from a few. But definitely, I do miss university days. The days where we would all go home at like 7 p.m. lepak at the mama. It's been definitely miss the university days.
Not to mention those days where you feel very relaxed and you can santai on your bed and not worry about deadlines, and also especially when you're doing assignments and you can say, oh, maybe I'll do it later. Yes, those days.
You actually had weekends, right?
You can still come to classes not on time, late, This time you could never come to work late.
I was very on time for classes, I think.
Well, me too. I'm not sure about Abbas.
You can ask any lecturer from IUMW. They can say that I've never been on time, especially my favorite lecturer, Sir Basit, if you guys know. Yes, definitely. He knows that I always come to his class late and I always do his work very, very late. And he always calls me on it. So I'm pretty sure most of you can relate. And please treat us like we're part of your friends, part of your group, and make sure that you feel comfortable throughout this talk. Okay, that's all from me.
All right, we can now start the sharing session like a conversation. Please don't be shy to add on your thoughts. First off, I would like to ask our alumni, what is your routine like throughout your week now that you are working? Isni, you may go ahead first.
I really don't know where to start actually. Let me just get this straight. When you start working, okay, now it's just an internship, right? But truly, when you start working, stepping into the working reality of life, your life would change 360, I would say. Right now, I need to wake up every day, 6 a.m. I don't wake up that early during my university days. Then I need to punch in at least by 8 because factory requirements need to punch in at 8 a.m. and punch out at 5 p.m. But I could count with my fingers how many times that I'm lucky to go back 5. So I don't really get back. I don't really go back 5. So usually I would go back around 6:30, 7, and then when I go back at home, I would normally just doze off. I will be knocked out. So that's how my weekdays goes. And I would definitely plan out my time for weekends to actually go out, meet my friends, meet my family, go out, just have my me time, because that's the only time that I could just have my leisure and relax time. How about you, Anis?
I had to agree on the part that 5 p.m. If we get to go home at 5 p.m. with Nestle, that's incredible. That's like a lucky 5 p.m. But honestly, despite having quite a very unpredictable, very chaotic schedule, it's very fun. When you enjoy what you're doing, you don't even realize that time flies by. Suddenly, you start to work at 9 a.m. Suddenly, it's already 5 p.m. So I think, honestly, in that sense, my schedule is very unpredictable. The day before, my calendar could be completely empty. Then suddenly I wake up, I'm like, oh, okay, I have 3 meetings today. Suddenly that came up. So I would say very unpredictable. I can't really say like, oh, okay, 9 a.m. I do this, 10 a.m. I do this. It's definitely not like that, because 10 a.m. I could have planned to do one thing and then suddenly everything changes and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, so very unpredictable. But I think that's one thing as well. You have to be, when it comes to really exposing yourself to the corporate world, you really need to be flexible. Your time can just change, like in a click, can just change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Abbas, what about you? How's your schedule like? Is it as hectic as?
Wow, I feel like Anis covered it all. So yes, for my work, I work in an e-commerce industry. So working from an e-commerce industry, the industry is always changing and you are always constantly trying to keep in touch with what is changed and the transition of your products or your design templates, etc., etc. So for my work, for the first 1 month, you'll have a very go easy honeymoon kind of working lifestyle. So you don't feel pressure. You can wake up at 9 and then you can do your work later and finish around 5 to 6, depending on your mood swing. So yes, mostly on the first month, you'll feel very relaxed because you have a lot of things to learn. But ongoing to the second and third month, you'll notice that you start waking up early because you have a lot of things to do and a lot of merchants to handle and a lot of products to deliver. So right now, I wake up at 7, but then I sleep again because I have snooze. So I wake up at 8 and I get ready. I say good morning to my team and I work from home. So I don't have to go all the way to Damansara and find a parking, do all the tedious work. I can work from home and feel more relaxed. And yeah, sign up to my computer, go straight ahead to my Gmail. And yes, I do this for every week, every day in a week. Let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and also Saturday because I love working on weekends. I mean, who doesn't? You sometimes get really bored during the weekends and you don't go out, especially when your work is from home. So you can do it whenever you like. So yeah, I work really, how do you say, really relaxed most of the time. But when there is a heavy task, like 11-11 campaign, 10-10 campaign, 12-12 campaign. Yes, that's the time where I actually sit on the computer 8 hours a day and do my work. Yes, that's all.
Those are really a pack full of excitement routine from all of you. Now that we have know all of your routines, how they are, how do you balance work life and still enjoy what you love doing? Daniel, you can start first.
How do I balance my work life? Oh, that's amazing. I don't really need much of a balancing because, work from home. So yeah, in terms of working life, or when there is a big event, you want to make sure that sometimes the tasks are very tremendous. Sometimes you have to handle thousands and thousands of products. So they'll roughly give you within days or weeks. So you have to make sure that you are really focused on your work. So when you're focused on your work, you have more ample time for yourself. Sometimes you get really stressed out because there's too many products, but you can also take a breather and relax. Maybe around 5 to 10 minutes a day, and then lunchtime, and then take another 5 to 10 minutes of break. So yeah, I do that almost every week. And without fail, I managed to finish my task. That's the most important part when you're working in an internship or a contract or full-time. I'm pretty sure most of you who have work can relate to how I feel. Don't you think? Anis or Tunku, you may continue.
I think I can take on the next part. So opposite to Abbas, I actually prefer my weekends to not be touched. On weekends, I completely off my emails. Once I switch off my laptop on Friday, it doesn't get switched on until Monday 7 a.m. Because I really honestly, my weekends, I spend a lot of my weekends with my family, with my friends. I do a lot of hiking. But because I started my internship as a virtual intern, so the first 3 months of my internship was actually just at home. I think I only went to the office once compared to now that I've converted into a new role. I go to the office every single day. I'm always on standby. But when I was fully virtual, like Abba said, it's very easy to balance between work and life. Because, I'm just 2 seconds away from my TV downstairs. I'm 2 minutes away from my mom who's in her room, that sort of thing. So it's very easy to balance out between work and life, especially when it's virtual. But yeah, I think, like Abba said, I think it's important that in between your work, you don't just have to work, 9 to 5. You need to take your breaks, even if it's not during lunchtime. Just take 10 minutes break between 10 to 11 or something. I think it's important to do that. I think that's how you really balance. One thing that my boss used to say is not about work-life balance anymore. It's like work-life blend, whereas I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 about it because I really like my life balance as well. But I get what he means. I think we're at that era where virtual remote working exists, so we kind of have to get used to work-life blend, that sort of thing. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Isni?
I guess I can resonate with you totally, where I also love when my weekends are not being touched. But the thing is, because I'm based at Shah Alam complex, it's AC factory, because factory, the production is still going on. So however it is from the HR side, during the weekends, I still need to do some minor tasks which I need to complete, where I need to send some reports daily because I'm managing 75% on COVID-19. So I need to send daily reports on COVID-19 cases and all. However, how I manage my work-life balance is that I'm such a planner now. I don't know how to categorize it, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I plan out my week thoroughly, as in macam the whole week, I know my 5 days straight is going to be hectic. So I must plan the weekend. Okay, this weekend I keluar siapa? Is it Anis? Is it my boyfriend? Or is it with my family? Or I want to go for my run? I would totally plan it out. But sometimes, plan doesn't go your way all the time. But you need just to embrace your journey lah. And I would like to remind that while you're working, you need to always recharge yourself. Not just working, or studying too. So recharging yourself is so important, or else you'll feel burnout. So just take some leisure time for yourself, or else you'll burn out for sure. So one good advice is that just listen to your body. So if your body is tired, just go to sleep, just binge watch Netflix and don't feel bad about it. That's what I
agree. Yeah. About the planning part, Tunku, I think you need to put me in one of your weekends. I've been waiting for like 3 weekends already. Yeah, but like Tunku said, I think now that you started internship, started working, it's so difficult for us to sort of like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I need to ask that 2 weeks beforehand, because I think I'm fully booked for the next 2 weekends already, which I feel so bad about because I can't make impromptu plans. But that's how it is today, and I think it's something we have to adapt to a lot. But Tunku, please put me in your calendar.
All right, okay, I'll put it now.
I'm sure that you can't put me because I only work on Saturdays. Yeah.
All right, here comes the part that I am sure some of the audience are very keen to know about. What is the best way to make your resume stand out from others? Anis, would you like to share your tips on this?
Yep, sure, I'll be happy to. So I think because I was from talent acquisition team as an intern, basically talent acquisition, we attract talent to the company, like employer branding through recruitment, hiring, and so on. So I think one of my main tasks as an intern was actually to phone screen and to source out these talents. So the thing I look for the most in resumes, not only, okay, we have video interviews when you apply. So that's one thing I look at, video interviews, how you're communicating and so on. But in terms of your resume, I look a lot at your skills part, the column where you put all your skills, what are you good at? So it's so important that you specify what you are good at, because a few things, I think you guys can list this down, a few things that we look for a lot in candidates is your ability to use Excel. I'm going to emphasize this. I think Abbas and Tuku can agree with me. Excel is so important. I underestimated the use of Excel throughout my time as a student, because now we live and breathe Excel sheets. So please, guys, when you have the free time, go attend any Excel classes, practice on Excel with random data. Right, isn't it? I think yeah, we use a lot of Excel sheets. We don't use anything else except Excel. So yeah, it's important for you to list down your Microsoft skills. That's very, very important. And your involvement during university, because we really like to see candidates who are very proactive and very basically just active during your university time. And then obviously the other things is to make it as attractive as possible. I know people often say like, oh, don't use Canva, don't use this and that. Guys, just when you, there are some places you apply, they obviously use that what is it called, somebody, it doesn't, is
I forgot, Jao.
what is it called, there's a robot thing
Software?
that text.
Yeah, it's like a software resume scanner, kan,
software.
Anis, but I totally forgot the name.
Yeah.
Anis,
Yeah, but don't worry. I don't know if this is for Nestle, but Nestle does not use that. You just upload your resume, whether it's like 10 colors in one resume or whatever. As long as it looks clean, professional, I will still look at it. Like personally, as a recruiter, I look at I look at the colorful ones, the really pretty ones. So honestly, it depends on recruiter as well. But the most important is obviously the content. More than the looks, it's the content. So for those who are still in your first year, second year, please get involved on as many virtual events and so on. Yeah.
Pertaining to that, I would like to add in, Anis. For me, resume is like a storyline of your life during your university days. So for you to create an attractive story about yourself, it's definitely is being active in university. Like, to be frank, like Anis and our group of friends are the same. To be frank, we have tons of friends that regretted their moments, but they are not active back in university because they don't know how to sell themselves to the employers. They don't know what to tell. They don't know what to actually promote themselves. Macam what are the abilities that they can actually contribute to the company. So we seen that a lot. So I would like to emphasize that during your university days, please don't waste your time by not doing anything. Like explore all the events that you can manage, explore all other sports or anything that you can actually develop your soft skills, your interpersonal skills, or else you regret. Because we have friends that they don't know what to put in their resume, and that's so sad because we tried to help them and that happens. So for real, we employers, we are trying to find the best fit. So you need to polish your skills, explore yourself, develop your skills, and then you'll be the best fit for the position. Anything from you, us?
I closely relate to you, isn't it? Because what you said was true. No matter how many courses you entered about how to do your best CV, how to do the most recognized CV, make it black and white or make it colorful, I've done it all, and it's not about how attractive it looks at the very end of the day, because when your employer sees, they want to see whether you are good in Excel, they want to see whether you're good in PowerPoint presentation, they want to see whether you're adaptable enough into the company. No matter how many events you join, you have to keep an open mind. It's not just about the ones that you join, it's about the ones that you can do, because in the end of the day,
you can lead, the one you can manage.
Yes, that is correct. Yes. So I've had a lot of rejections throughout my interview phase because of my CV being too much, that it has too many details, too many contents, so they don't really know what to narrow down. So they had to ask me, what's your skill? What is your background? Let me know, what do you know, what you have done previously during your university days besides what you have written here, because it seems a lot. Maybe you have entered something more useful than that, or maybe something more contributing to the society. Yes. So in a CV, make sure that you write it as short and direct as possible so that your employers understand what you are trying to get. Sorry?
Short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, correct. Like content is important, but remember relevant content. You don't have to put everything, just the relevant content, especially one that relates to the company that you're applying for. Yeah. And I think, there was another point that I wanted to say, but I completely forgot. Never mind. If it comes up, I'll say it.
Remember.
I'll try to remember.
Those are really great points right there given by our alumni guests. Dear audience, I hope you are paying attention. Proactiveness during your university days is very important so that you can add on these soft skills and technical skills in your resume and be prepared for the corporate job. Besides making our resume special among others, do you think LinkedIn is advantageous and useful? Is it advisable for fresh graduates to set up LinkedIn and actively use it? Isni, you may start first.
Okay, I would say LinkedIn is useful and it has the advantages if you want to connect with professionals and get a job easily. However, these days they are gone viral where LinkedIn can be a toxic place too. So for me, psychology speaking, it can be both. It can be good and bad. It's how you actually perceive LinkedIn. So I have my days where I use LinkedIn actively, and I have my days where I don't even want to see the icon of LinkedIn on my phone. So it depends. You need to be smart on your usage of LinkedIn. But however, I would say in order for me to get my motivation, source of inspirations, I go to LinkedIn and see other people's life journey and their career pathway, because you can actually plan, like I say, I love to plan. So you can actually plan your career pathway by looking up to other people's in LinkedIn. However, we can always plan, but God leads the way. That's why I would say I would advise you to use LinkedIn, connect with people, talk to people in LinkedIn, because sometimes they have availability of jobs that they need ASAP. So you can go there too. So yeah. What about you, Anis, Abbas?
Abbas, you
On
want to go
my
first?
side,
Yeah.
I'll go first. Okay, so on my side, I can say that for girls, for women, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but for women, they put more effort in LinkedIn, and for guys, you can barely see anything on their Facebook, on their feeds, or etc. etc. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Do you go to a guy's page and then you see where's the content? Mostly they share. So in terms of recruitment, you can use LinkedIn as a platform to create an advantage in certain companies, but not all companies use LinkedIn. Some of them, they are more responsive when you use referrals. So when you get connected with people, you want to make sure that everything is laid out properly when they do a background research on you. So a LinkedIn can be a useful source of information for them to do a background brief on you, rather than for you to show and brand your page to people. Because in the end of the day, no matter how much effort you put on your LinkedIn, you should know where are you targeting yourself to. Because without proper funneling, you wouldn't know, in the end of the day, you wouldn't know where you are going to land. If you say, I can handle this, I can handle that, I can handle, etc., etc. But when they interview you, you're speechless, you wouldn't know anything. So it worries us, doesn't it? Like, Anis would know a lot about LinkedIn because I see her posting almost every day.
Yeah, I think personally for me, LinkedIn, I only started using LinkedIn when I started my internship actually, because I was an intern under employer branding. So obviously I had to, come up with marketing initiatives to basically make the brand, the employer look attractive. So I used it a lot for employer branding, which in work-wise, it has been very useful for me. I think I managed to get a lot of youth reach, because that was the whole point anyway, to get youth to be more attracted to Nestle and so on. But also in terms of my professional development, through that video, I actually gained a lot of connections within the organization. So people would come up to me and be like, Anis, you're the one who posted that video that went viral on LinkedIn, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And I do think that it really created a bond between me and my managers as well, because I used to just be, a normal intern coming in and out of the organization. But, through those videos, through those LinkedIn posts that I've contributed for the employer, they kind of noticed me in a sense. I became a bit more visible to my managers, to my boss's boss, and so on. So I think personally has been very useful for me. But like Tunku said just now, like you you kind of need to control how you perceive LinkedIn, because some people might be like, oh, she's already doing this and this, I'm still here. But I hope no one here feels that way. I hope everyone takes everything you see on LinkedIn as a source of inspiration, because I'm pretty sure those people who've posted about, oh, I got this job, I got this CGPA and everything, I'm pretty sure they also were once in your shoes as well, but took all these stories as their source of inspiration. And that's how it led to them being able to post that sort of content. So please, please, please look at LinkedIn as a more of a source of inspiration. Because I think me and Isni had this chat together, actually, like we were very sort of, it was before internship, right? Yeah, we were very like down in the dumps, like we were wondering what's next for us and so on. So yeah, I think LinkedIn, it really depends on how you utilize LinkedIn, you know? Yeah, so that's from me.
It can actually it can be source of inferiority, insecurity, but it can also be a source of motivation, inspiration. So yeah, just a side note, recruiters and employers do stalk your LinkedIn. So sometimes you just need to show your good self in LinkedIn, brand yourself. However, make sure what you brand is what you preach. Yes.
I completely agree. Yeah, I do stalk people who reply. I do stalk. I'm like, are they really what they say they are on the resume? Yeah.
Those have been really interesting points right there. It really makes me want to set up my own profile as well. Please, audience, do remember to never compare yourself with others and make it as an inspiration. Also, it'll be good to use LinkedIn to connect and talk to people, especially when employees really need to have like availability on jobs. That would be great for you to seek out. Also, dear audience, if you have any questions, please do put it down in the chat box. We will answer your questions during the Q&A session. Thank you. Also, I am sure our audience is very curious about the background of your work right now. Daniel, please briefly introduce about your current job now.
Oh, it's interesting that I went first instead of Nestle. So, okay, so my company, Sell in All, is a computer software platform that helps e-commerce merchants to expand more. Kiranya, it's like a concept of Sell in All is an enabler for you to sell your products in different marketplaces, all in one inventory system. In other cases where you are trying to sell your product, for example, one chocobar, let's say you want to sell one chocobar, but you also want to sell not only Malaysia, you want to sell in Singapore. So sometimes we use Shopee and Lazada, or maybe we have Shopee Malaysia and Shopee Singapore. So that is where you use Sell in All to expand your business. And for my line of work, I mainly focus on the product listings that is available on Shopee, Lazada, Zalora, Shopify, Talkopedia, and many more. There's too many that I have to say out, so I'll just keep it short. Whatever you see, the first thing you see on a product that is available on the e-commerce store, that is my scope of work. Yes, I will pass it down to Nestle team. Anis.
Thanks, of us. Yeah, two Nestle's. All right. Okay, so for my internship, I was actually part of the talent acquisition team, which I think I just explained very briefly just now. It's more towards hiring and recruitment as well as employer branding. So my task was mainly towards employer branding as well as recruitment. So it varies between I do recruitment like phone screening, scheduling interviews, hosting the interview and so on. But I also do a lot of events. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Graduan. So we also had to collaborate with Graduan, so speaking to external parties to do events and so on. So yeah, I think luckily for me, I got a mix of both, HR as well as a little bit of marketing sort of thing, because, I have to market the employer. It was nice. I think being in talent acquisition gave me a lot of exposure to not only working in a team, but also working with external parties, which is something I don't do very often. But yeah, I think that's basically the scope of my job. Recruitment, hiring, sourcing out talents for different divisions, because there's different functions. So we have like technical and production, we have sales, marketing, nutrition. So we have different divisions. So my team would be the ones sourcing out talents for these different functions. Yeah. So that's mine. Yeah.
As Anis mentioned, the different divisions, I am based at the technical production, where I am at the Shah Alam complex factory. We have tons of factory with us. So mainly my line of work revolves around, majority of it revolves around COVID-19, where I need to do all the PCR tests, all the antigen scheduling tests, and then I handle directly for the Nestle vaccination program, where I need to interview some employees who didn't want to get vaccinated, where that moment I had to apply my psychology knowledge in terms of encouraging people to get vaccinated. It was definitely challenging that time, but I had fun. And then I managed Nestle flu vaccination at my factory. And at factory, our focus is all about safety. So although I'm in HR, I also get the exposure in safety, health and environment division, where I need to handle HIRAC. So HIRAC stands for Hazard Identification Risk Assessment, HIRAC, determining control. So it's so tedious, but it's so hard, but it's definitely a new thing for me. And working in a factory is definitely a super new environment for me, and I didn't expect to actually work in a factory because it requires some of operational basic understanding, and alhamdulillah I managed to actually grasp the basic knowledge of it within a month, because I had to familiarize and memorize how many plants do we have, how many products in the factory, and how many shift arrangements. And it was challenging for the first few months, but yep, I held through the way, and that's about my line of work.
So I think it's safe to mention as well. I think people would kind of want to know what's the difference between me and Isni. I think, me and Isni is based in the factory, like she said. I am based in the headquarters, HOU is what we call it. So for me, I have a very specific portfolio, like I said just now. HR in the headquarters, that you got a lot of teams. You know, you have training and development, you have going blank here, HRBPs, you have the recruitment team, like my team. So there's different teams in the headquarters. Whereas for Isni, hers is like HR as a whole. So there's a lot of things she needs to sort of grasp and learn about. Whereas mine is very straightforward. I'm just recruitment, hiring, as well as employer branding. So that's just a bit of the difference between the both of us.
Yeah, because although I'm based at a factory, I was also exposed in recruitment and hiring, but I was exposed for recruitment hiring for the operators, not for the employees in the factory, like the management line, no, but I was exposed in recruitment hiring for the operators for the factory. Yeah.
Those have been very interesting job scopes and responsibilities right there. And very much room for new experiences and working with different people. I would like to ask, what was your interview experience like for the job you are currently working for? Anis, would you like to start?
Okay, so I still remember my interview very clearly because I think Nestle was definitely my first choice. So I was super duper nervous. I was like, I really need this internship because I didn't apply anywhere else. I think I applied to like 2 places because Nestle was my only choice. So luckily I did get it. But the interview experience was actually very, very casual. I wasn't expecting it to be very casual. I think with Nestle, they are very, in terms of formality, of course, there are situations where you need to be formal. But during my internship, they really wanted to just know about you. Like, they didn't want it to be like formal so that you have to like kind of like hide your true self just to be all this formal, corporate, that sort of thing. They really wanted you to just have a conversation with them, tell them what's your commitment, what you can offer to them as an intern and so on. So I think it was a very casual one, surprisingly. I was there like, okay, I need to be formal. This is a really big company. I need to do my bestest. Obviously, you do need to do your best, but the most important thing is to be your best self. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be too casual, but at the same time, be casual enough that they know, oh, she's not nervous, she's okay, she's doing okay, that sort of thing. So I think overall, basically, my interview experience is very nice. I was interviewed by 2 people who are very close to me until today. So yeah, that was my interview experience. I honestly, I wish I could say a lot about it, like, oh, this recruiter was so mean to me. No, I really honestly can't, because it was so casual, so nice. It was like a chit chat with like my 2 cousins or something. So yeah, that was my interview experience. I don't know about Abbas and Isni. Maybe they have other experiences.
Abbas, you go first.
All right. So for my company, Cellular, I went before selling all, I would like to say that I went through several interviews for full-time and internship, and I got rejected so many times due to lack of experience from the industry and being a fresh grad, or both. Yes, I got rejected non-stop. So the reason was because mainly they will focus on what your skills can provide into the industry. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. So thankfully, I stumbled upon Selling All, and I got it from referrals and managed to join the company despite having my lack of skill in the industry. I had some relevant knowledge that could contribute to the e-commerce industry. For example, Ali Hunters, Ali Trackers, you get to select the rates of the product and how common the product is through the keywords, through the designs, portfolio, content, information. So I have all this knowledge that I previously brought together with me, and I managed to score my position through that interview due to my relevant knowledge. So make sure that you have a solid foundation on the companies that you want to join, the industries that you want to join. Make sure that you not just do background check, you do background check on yourself, whether you know what to contribute to the company or not. So yes, I'm not sure how I would relate my e-commerce to Nestle. So yeah, it's me. Please take the stage.
Well, I still remember my interview experience with Nestle. However, opposed to Anis, Nestle wasn't my first choice. Nestle was actually my few of the last choice, because I think I applied Nestle quite last minute actually. And for the record, actually, I was offered by Settle, a subsidiary of Petronas. I was offered by Schlumberger. I was being interviewed by Hong Leong, CIMB, and also Nestle. However, although I was being interviewed by Hong Leong, CIMB, and Nestle, I was offered for the position. But at that moment, I wasn't keen on venturing into the banking world. So I told myself, probably I should really expose and experience Nestle, because why not? Because the Nestle's values, which I will tekankan later on, about values of a company, but Nestle values really resonates with me. So that's why I accepted Nestle. And I still remember my interview experience were really, really casual, as Annie said, because I was being interviewed by her boss. So, so it was very casual because she wanted to know just what I can offer and what I can do. And at first, she offered me to actually go to the headquarters, but it was fully online that time. But I told her I'm okay going to the factory as long as I get the physical experience earlier. So she said, in that case, the Shah Alam factory needs people ASAP, so you can go there. So yeah, here I am now.
I think
To add
that
on, to Miss Shafiqa's inquiry just now, isn't it scary that the transaction from being a student to work, from being a student to a working environment? Yes, it was scary, especially for us fresh grads. I'm pretty sure we all had a nerve-wracking situation where we were getting interviewed by our employers. I'm pretty sure all the questions we weren't able to answer as clear and how they wanted it to be, but we just managed to, answer it well because we were very nice. We were being all casual with them, and we also, like, for my interview specifically, I brought up my grandma into the interview, and it was really funny because my interviewer was from India. So I was like, "Do you watch Dilwali or do you speak Indian?" I speak a little bit of Tamil because I learned from my grandma. Yeah, so make sure you feel comfortable with them, and make sure you don't treat them like strangers. Just make sure that you are a human being just like them. Yes. Ivy, you may proceed.
with your interview experiences in mind, do you have any advice for those who are going for a job interview soon? Ismi, you may start.
As cliche as it sounds, before going for interviews, please do your research on the company that you want. But the main point is that I think for you to actually love what you're doing, to actually love the company, you need to actually resonates with their values. That's what I wanted to point out. So with the company's values, if you resonate with them well, so you became like naturally drawn to the company and you want to contribute the company more. So that's why I said you make sure to do the research values. And I think as cliche as it sounds too, during interviews, just be yourself. Like Ani said just now, just be yourself. Don't be, I mean, people would understand if you're nervous, but just be yourself. Don't fake it too much because recruiters would know. And yeah, I think if you're the best fit and you're confident enough that you can take the role, obviously you'll get the position. I think Anis would have tons of advice for the recruitment part, for the interview part.
Yeah, I completely agree about the part where people can see that you're nervous. Honestly, every time I host an interview, I can see when they're nervous. I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. It's just a casual conversation, one-to-one sort of thing. I think my advice, similar to what Isni said as well, is not only to do research about the company itself, but also do research about what you are applying for. Because, you know, I've had candidates who just walk into the interview. I'm like, so what do you know more about this position? And they're like, oh, I can't remember what I applied for. I mean, okay lah, I get it. It's tough times, you know, we're all here trying to get internships, applying here and there, applying to whatever positions we get. But it's so important that you know what you are applying for, because we recruiters as employers, we are investing in you. Even if it's just an intern, we are investing in you. And maybe one day, luckily for me, like me, I was converted into a temporary position here in Nestle. So please do your research about what you're applying for. See if you are able to really commit and to contribute to the position itself, because this is an investment the employer is making on you. And you know, this investment can take you wonders. It can take you up the corporate ladder and so on. So yeah, I think my best advice would be to, because for me as well, relating to my experience during the interview, the first question they asked me was, so Anis, what do you know about talent acquisition? At that point, I was like, I mean, I knew it, but at the same time, I didn't know like too in depth about it. So that was the first question they asked me. So please do your research about the position you're applying for. Yep, that's mine.
Adding into Anis' point about investing, actually recruiters are investing your time during interviews. I just had one solid experience last week, where I interviewed an operator. We were interviewing, chit-chatting, and then suddenly we told her that it's a she. We told her that, okay, your contract will be 1 year. And then suddenly she said, oh, ini kerja setahun je contract. And then we said, yes, we already put it in the poster boldly with the biggest size that it's a 1 year contract. And then she suddenly said, oh, tak apalah macam tu, tak jadilah nak ambil kerja ni. And then we were so pissed off. We were like, oh my God, we invested like 30 minutes of the interview yourself, because she was a best fit lah, I would say. But the thing is, she wanted a permanent role where we cannot offer that time. We really say it's only for 1 year. But yeah, it's sad that she wanted a permanent role. But yeah, Abbas?
Well, to add on, I've already added on just now. So yeah, most of the things that you should know when your employer asks you questions in terms of your specialty or what you're capable at, make sure you look knowledgeable about it. make sure that you have a solid background check on what your company is providing and how they manage their dealers through their services. Because if you don't know what the company is actually doing, then why are you interviewing them why are you in the interview in the first place? Am I right or am I right? So yeah, you have to make sure you do minor background checks is okay. Make sure you know about, for me, for example, e-commerce industry. At least you know about what you're shopping at. Maybe you look at Lazada and Shopee. For example, Shopee, if you look at the title of the product, make sure that the brand name is at the front and the product name is at the back, so you know what the category keyword where you can find them through Google listing. So whenever you type that product in the Google search, it will be listed as the first product that will be targeted by the consumers. Yep, that is my experience on e-commerce knowledge. So that's what I brought forward towards my interviewer.
Those are very great advice right there, especially for those who are nervous or have less experience in job interviews. I too am taking note of all this. We definitely need to know what we are getting into, especially the company culture, and also we need to resonate with our company's values so that we won't feel like we're forcing ourselves to work. We have to have some interest so that we can put our best and also contribute to the company. Apart from interviews, I'm sure a lot of us need to work with people in a certain setting or a project. I would like to know, did you find any challenges in communicating or working with your coworkers, especially during the pandemic? Are there any specific do's and don'ts you would like to share? Daniel, I think you can really add on to this a lot since you're working from home right now.
So in the middle of the pandemic, right? The experience of communicating with your employees, usually you'll end up having 2 meetings in a week. So you get to elaborate what tasks you have to do and what are the errors you have in your work. In e-commerce, mistakes are endless. You will do it since the first day. So when you're having difficulties, you always reach out to your senior, right? So when you're not confident on something or something just happened to the system and it's already portrayed in the e-commerce page, for example, Shopee, Lazada, and then you get stressed out, you're not sure what you want to do. And you have to keep in touch with your seniors, make your message as short as possible, don't make it too long. You want to make sure that they understand because it's already posted in the website and you want to make it tally with your system. So don't overthink. I know during our university days, we tell our lecturer, maybe later lah, we make so many excuses, this and that, correct or not? And then we wouldn't know how to make our sentence short because we've never confronted our lecturer in such a way that our message is very direct. So make sure whatever you have to clarify with your leaders, with your seniors, make it short and simple. Don't make it long. If it's hard, make a point form, step by step. Okay, that's from my side. For e-commerce, it's very serious talk. So for Nestle, I'm pretty sure you handle a lot of inquiries regarding customers' product, operations issue. So I'm pretty sure you can handle that easily. Please take the stage.
Well, to be very honest, I did experience some challenges in terms of communication during my internship because, okay, the only setback that I can share interning at Nestle is that they don't provide laptops. All right, Anis, because they don't provide us laptops. So I am using my personal laptop. So the only setback and the only challenge that I'm facing until today is only in terms of communicating using my own personal laptop because for some reason, I can't use Skype Business in my laptop. So it's quite hard for me to actually reach out to my colleagues ASAP. Therefore, I need to use either my phone or Microsoft Teams because that's the only medium of communication that I can use for the moment. So I need to depend on that. But however, I am grateful because my colleagues and co-workers are very attentive, and because working in a factory is very structured and we need to be on time and we need to really follow the schedule because working in a factory is very structured and they have a lot of policies that we need to follow. That's why if we have anything for the next day, we will ensure that everything's being communicated and planned a day before. That's how it was in the factory. So for now, everything is okay. So since I'm working at the factory, I have my own laptop and I have the factory's PC. So if I want to use the Skype Business to actually communicate with the other people, either from the HOU, because sometimes we work in the factory, we need to communicate from the people from headquarters where Anis is based at. So I would use the PC laptop just to communicate, just to use the Skype Business, and I would use my personal laptop to do my work. That's how actually tedious, how my challenge is in terms of the communication wise. In terms of do's and don'ts, I think we'll move that later. Anis?
About the laptop thing, I think the talent acquisition is working on that.
Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
very because like, we have a lot of interns, and let's say we have a lot of interns, we believe in giving opportunities to a lot of people. So sometimes the laptop situation can be a bit messy. I also didn't get my laptop as well. I only got it when I converted to my temporary position. But okay, for me, I think the most significant challenge would be, as someone working under employer branding, obviously I had a lot of projects to work on, events, external parties to talk to, events to organize with my teammates in general. So personally, I prefer a physical brainstorming session, with the whiteboard, with everyone physically here to brainstorm who to talk next and so on. So the biggest barrier, I mean, the biggest challenge in communication would have to be having to plan so many events at once, but without having physical contact. I think virtual meetings sometimes get the best of me. Honestly, I get so annoyed sometimes because like, I don't know how people are feeling, I don't know people's facial expressions. They might be saying yes to this, but actually they don't feel yes about it. You know what I mean? But I believe that you shouldn't let this barrier get to you. Basically, I think there's a lot of ways that you can kind of overcome this, but I think in general virtual settings have been quite overwhelming and quite repetitive to all of us. So I think basically the general challenge would have to be not being able to tell what someone is really feeling behind the screen. I'm a very physical, what's that word, interaction, physical interaction sort of
I
person.
love physical
So like,
interaction.
yeah, like both Izni and I, we are very physical people. We prefer to talk face to face.
Is your love language physical touch?
My love language is actually my love language, acts of service. But you know what I mean? So like, being someone who's an extrovert, being someone who loves being around people and so on, I think the challenge of communicating is not being able to be physically there in front of them. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the whole point. I can virtual. Yeah, but you get what I mean.
Now that we have all know of like what are the challenges you have been facing since working from home, I do think the most important thing is that we have to be open and honest. And if there's an issue, we need to let our colleagues know about it so we can solve the issue as soon as possible. Also, about the setup of your work, what is it like working in the middle of the pandemic? Did you work from home or work in an office? Was it flexible? Disney, you may begin first.
I'm actually grateful because I experienced both. Actually, I was working from only for 1 month, and that 1 month I had a blast because working from home, I still can manage my time to actually go for my runs. I think people would actually can see clearly that 1 month I can go for that every day. Now I'm back to the factory. I could not go for my evening run at all right now. So I'm grateful that I experienced both working from home and also factory. This is because, as I said before, the factory production, they run all the time. Even it's pandemic, they run all the time. So, and at Nestle, we were allowed 60% at that moment. So I had the chance to actually go to the factory earlier. So it was okay. In terms of flexibility, working from home is more flexible because they know if you're working from home by 5, they don't really catch you after 5 because you're working from home, they don't know what to expect. But then when you're in the factory, that's what I say, you will not go back 5 because you will have additional tasks you need to do and you need to complete by the end of the day. But if you have urgent matters at the factory or you have urgent matters at home, of course you can be excused, of course.
Yep, I think mine is similar to Izzy's as well. I think working at home, I started my internship for the first 3 months at home, like I said earlier. So everything was virtual. I could close my laptop by 5 p.m. But now that I'm at the office every single day, it's I'm always on standby. I pack my stuff at 6 p.m. ready to go home. Then suddenly my boss is like, "Hey, Anis, let's have a chat," which I completely don't mind. I think I love talking to my bosses. But yeah, it's much more flexible at home. But I do enjoy being at the office, being physically with people. Yeah. Abbas, what about you? Working from home all the time, right?
Yes.
I don't know how you cope, like seriously.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I
How?
question myself that too. So yes, working from home. As a guy who doesn't really often go out, only go out when it's necessary, only go out when you need vaccination injection, only go out when
Such a good boy, huh?
yeah, such a good boy. So yeah, you don't really need to go out because working from home, e-commerce is everything. E-commerce is online. E-commerce is through your phone. E-commerce is your personal one-stop shopping center. And having to work in an e-commerce industry, you can just work day and night. Doesn't really matter actually, because you're really flexible. You can work early in the morning or you can work late at night. But you just have to make sure that you are always consistent when you mention in your contract that you'll be working from this hour to that hour. So for me, I work from 9 to 6, 9 to 5 to 9 to 6. And sometimes when I feel very lazy on that day, I can like take a break for a while. And when someone messages me, I'll just like use my phone and then text. Okay, so today's task, I'll do this and that, this and that. But most of the time, I'm always in front of the computer. I don't think so. I need flexibility much on working outside because everything is right here in your desktop, in your laptop. So yeah, you don't have to worry about joining e-commerce industries during the pandemic because there's so much opportunity for you to expand your Excel career, Excel sheet, PowerPoint sheet. You can learn about HTML. You can learn so many things. Just that you have to keep an open mind and not try to beat yourself too much about it. Yeah, that's all.
Now it's
Abbas
time
workaholic.
for.
Sorry,
You may
Abby.
add on, Anis. You may add on.
No, I was just saying Abbas is a workaholic. I can see that.
Actually, yeah, quite recently, right after graduated.
I was actually wondering, since you have been working from home, doesn't it actually like make you work after working hours? Because you did say it's quite flexible, so
Yeah,
you're around the clock.
actually, it depends on how heavy is your task. In certain cases, you only have to do 20, 30, 40 products, and it's quite fast because you're doing everything from Excel sheet. You're not doing everything from Seller Center. So when you're doing everything from Seller Center, you have to list each product manually and individually. Doing from sheet, doing from Excel sheet, Google sheet, you can list your products really quickly and you can lessen the mistakes that you do when you're doing for individual products. So in this case, your work is really flexible. But as I said, it depends on how many products you have to do. In certain days, I do 1,000, 1,500. In certain times, in a week, 1,500. It sounds more realistic. But yeah, sometimes your workload is heavy, sometimes your work is very relaxed, especially in the end of the week before the campaign. Yep.
Remember
all
to
for me.
rest, Abbas. Remember.
I rest when I play games.
Now it's time for some more individualistic questions. Anis, what was the proudest achievement you had throughout your line of work?
Okay, this one's an easy one because honestly, I wasn't expecting this to happen. But I think my proudest achievement as an intern in the talent acquisition team, because I feel I've said this 5 times. I was part of employer branding. So one of the projects I had to work on was International Youth Day. And that is sort of like a zone thing. So other countries like India, Pakistan, a few other markets were also involved in it. So I had to present to the CEO, who is Juan Arnold. So I think that was a really great opportunity. I wasn't expecting it. It's just that one day my boss was like, hey, Anis, you're presenting to the CEO tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, okay, let me prepare. So I think that was one of my proudest achievements because he really liked the idea. And I think this is my proudest achievement because I wasn't expecting to suddenly talk to the CEO. But either way, in Nestle, the communication barrier here is there's not much of a communication barrier, especially since you're at the headquarters like me. I think I see the CEO at least 5 times a day. He's just like out walking, taking his cup of coffee. You can go say hi to him whenever you want to. So communication here in Nestle is no barriers lah, basically, no matter what position you're in, no matter what department you're in, even if he's like the head of department, you can just go knock on his door and say, hey, can I have a chit chat with you? They're very open to that. So I'm going off topic. That is my proudest achievement. Isni, you have any?
I love how you are actually realizing the moment. I think, okay, I think my proudest achievement is the fact that I am actually working in a factory, because I think I told Anis, I've never once in my life imagined myself working in a factory, because I've always, since small until today, actually, I still imagine myself being a corporate woman, wearing a blazer and high heels and stuff. But here I'm actually at the factory. But 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 please don't imagine that I'm actually wearing the operator shirt or whatever. I'm still wearing the normal attire, actually going to the factory. But because working in a factory is actually a whole new different environment from the offices at the headquarters, or even the offices in the corporate banking world. Anything is really different, because the operational basic knowledge and operational basic departments and field, they are really new to me, because I'm actually, my background is different, and then I'm venturing into HR, and then I'm based at a factory. So it's like a triangle, and it's something that I need to grasp really quick, and need to blend in myself, need to be adaptable and agile like really quick, so that I can do my work not really perfectly, but do my work greatly lah. So in a way, I feel like I am proud that I managed to actually being alive in a factory, and I managed to do my work really well. And because for a record, for you to actually climb a corporate ladder, I think in Nestle, you actually need to actually have some experience working in a factory, so that you know how the wider, broadened scope, how Nestle actually works. So you know how the technical production work, how the services work. So that's how you can actually climb the corporate ladder slowly. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I think Isni being an intern in in technical and production is amazing, because I mean, Nestle is a manufacturing company, guys. So you have to realize that is where all the action is. That's why you really have to get your hands dirty. You get to know all the behind the scenes. So I really do admire Isni being in the factory. You need to give me a factory tour soon. Hello, you come to my office. I need to go to your office pula. But yeah, agreed. I think I can relate to Isni as well. One of her proudest achievements is being here. I told my friends, I think a year ago, right, Isni, I was like, guys, I don't want to do corporate. I'm not a corporate lady, but here I am. I've started my role as a HR executive. I'm a corporate lady and I'm loving it. So yeah, I think that's also one of my proudest achievements as well.
How about you, Abbas? Please tell you have something.
Yes, I do have a lot of things to share, but there's too much. Okay, for instance, nowadays I'm actually working with 5 different teams: Team India, Team Vietnam, Team Indonesia, Team Philippines, and Team Thailand. And currently, they're all together because our company has changed from individual team marketplaces operation to all selected marketplaces. So I've worked with all these team members, and they're all very responsive, they're very knowledgeable, and whenever you need to seek knowledge, you feel confident. You feel confident that you know how to handle things. And not to mention, nowadays I'm handling Japanese products, Japanese merchants, Korean merchants, Vietnam merchants. I'm handling too many merchants right now. It's just very overwhelming for me. But yeah, one of the key points is that you get to level up really quickly in an e-commerce industry. And not to mention that your work, my work previously, when I first started, I had to list 300 products. 300 products took me 1 week to finish, because there were so many things I didn't know about: HTML, sheet, formula, etc., etc. That, like, for example, if you go to Lazada marketplaces, the description is actually in HTML format, so you can't really type in normal words because the designs will run away. So yes, that's an example. But for me, I've managed to handle Shopee, Tokopedia, Lazada, all these marketplaces, Zalora even included. And I managed to cut down from my work 300 to 1 week to 300 a day. 300 products into a day. And it's not even a day, I can finish it within few hours. So yes, that's one of my proudest achievements. I've became more proactive in terms of uploading products online. and making sure everything's perfect, following the Google keywords category, etc., etc. Yep.
Another thing I would like to ask,
Sorry.
I'm confident that many people could relate to this, especially when life can be quite uncertain. Isni, compared to your tertiary education pathway, did you expect to be where you are today?
I get this question all the time, every time, each interview. I get this question. Not really about did I expect to be where I'm today, but really why am I taking psychology? But if I want to venture in HR, it does resonate some way, right? The question. But a little bit of a sharing. Actually, I took psychology is just for a matter of my interest, my personal interest. I took psychology because I love the knowledge, but I will never see myself as a psychologist or a clinical psychologist or even a psychiatrist, because I really see myself as a corporate woman. That's why for me, the closest field that I can actually apply psychology knowledge is HR. It's either HR or either marketing. That's the closest field that I can actually apply my psychology knowledge. And talking about education pathway, to be frank, no matter what degree that you are taking, no matter what education or whatever field you are taking right now, it doesn't really how to say it doesn't really not secure. Dia takkan janji. It won't promise you. It won't promise you the actual position, the actual path that you're going into. It can always change out. It can always change, like a circle. So if you're taking psychology, you can end up being in marketing. If you're taking psychology, you can end up being in e-commerce. It's vice versa. It can even you're taking business, you can end up in a different field. So just take life as a I don't know, a circle shape. It's like going up and down. It's like exploring what you love, what you like, what you actually don't like, and exploring yourself, whether you're actually best fit in this field, in this department, in this kind of company. So of course I would say I did not expect to be where I am today, but I am enjoying it, of course. Anis? Oh, I'm sorry, you're doing something.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I got a. Okay, one thing about my new role is we always have to manage COVID cases. So if there's a COVID case in Penang or in Kuantan, I need to attend to immediately. So I just had to do that very quickly. Okay, but this is about where if I expected to be where I am today, right? So today I am a temporary HR executive, which is honestly something I've always wanted to be. So yes, I'm exactly where I expected myself to be, but not this quickly. I wasn't expecting to be here very quickly. I thought I was going to do like 2 more internships and then get into a permanent role. But I guess life works in mysterious ways, right? Sometimes you get opportunities and you just know when to grab it. So I grabbed this one instantly. And I think, can I just answer like question 12? Because I think it's kind of related, right? 11, 12. If you don't mind, Ivy, all good? Okay, so do I like what I'm doing currently? So a little backstory, I went from a talent acquisition intern to a HR executive, temporary HR executive handling the sales division. So I loved doing what I did in talent acquisition, which is employer branding and so on. But I also love what I'm doing now because when it comes to the sales division, we have to work with different regions. So that includes like Sarawak, Sabah, what else? Kuantan, or this putting my skills, my knowledge to the test. But so many regions that we have to communicate with. So you have all these uncles from all these different regions that will call you up and ask you questions, anything to do with employee relations and so on. So it's nice. I really enjoy talking to people. I think what I realized when I entered Nestle was that I really enjoyed talking to different people from different teams, different regions. Sometimes, I would just be going to go get my cup of Milo, and then I will be talking to someone from finance for like 20 minutes. Like, I think I really love what I'm doing. Like, as a HR executive, there's a lot of people that I need to talk to. So, yep, I love what I'm doing. Other than the Excel part, the data that I have to handle, all the pivot tables, all the VLOOKUPs, data validations, that one, I'm still trying to have a love and hate relationship with it. Because once you know the formulas, once you know where to click on Excel, everything is like a breeze. You feel like, oh, I'm a professional matrix computer guy or something. But once you don't know what to do in Excel, I have breakdowns. Okay, I think I've broken down over Excel at least twice. So yeah, basically in conclusion, see, I keep going off topic, guys. In conclusion, I really love what I'm doing now, despite the fact that I wasn't very sure about corporate before this. I really love what I'm doing. Yeah.
Isni and Daniel, same goes to you as well. Do you guys love what you're doing right now?
Yes, I do love what I'm doing right now. I'm from entrepreneurship. I've jumped into e-commerce industry for 3 months now, and I've loved what I'm doing since I have managed so many things that I've never expected to do in my entire career. And for a very short and simple advice for you guys who are planning to join for e-commerce or any business corporate comms, make sure that you keep an open mind. Don't beat yourself too much when you're joining for the first time into corporate comms, because the amount of things you'll learn, especially in Excel, PowerPoint, HTML, and picture editing and everything, that is something you'll be expecting in the future. You just have to keep an open mind and relax. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because when you put too much pressure, they can see that you're anxious and they feel like they have to handle the task by themselves, not you. Okay, so yeah, that's from my side. Isni, please continue.
Okay, to be very honest, I wouldn't say I love or cinta what I'm currently doing, but I wouldn't say I hate what I'm currently doing. It's like a feeling of linear. This is because my line of work is really this what I can say 100% revolves around the Excel data validation, all the formulas and all the trackers that I need to do. It really revolves around that. And being in a factory environment, it's not really a hoo-ha environment. So it's a bit serious So it's not that I don't really resonate well, because being a perfect definition of an extroverted Leo, it's hard for me to actually unleash myself. So I'm still at a linear feeling, but I will never disregard the experience that I have in the factory, because I know it can be a plus point for me to actually experience the factory environment. But I'm okay with my current line of work.
Lastly, do you have any kind of advice you would like to give those who are applying for a job or an internship soon? Any of you may take the floor.
Rock, paper, scissors. I think
I
yeah,
mentioned mine previously, so you guys may take the lead.
okay, maybe I can go first for this one. So I think one of the ideas, one of the best advices, or an advice that I always give to people when people ask me, is I say, don't be afraid to stand out and propose ideas. Because one of the reasons why employers are hiring you, even as an intern, is because they want fresh ideas. Oh, thunder, did you guys hear that? Oh, yeah, because they want fresh ideas. They're here to give you an opportunity. So once you have the opportunity, the platform, propose any ideas. Talk to your manager and say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think about this idea? I think for Nestle, especially, managers are very open. They're very open to listen to your ideas. If you have an idea that you feel like it's not even in your scope of responsibility, but you have an idea for your team, you propose it to your manager, and most likely they say, okay, I like the idea, go execute it, do what you need to do to execute. And I think that is how, standing out, being more vocal about your ideas, that is how you really get yourself the experience. That's how you really make the most out of the experience. So don't be afraid to say something. Don't mute yourself during meetings. Make connections within the organization, within the team. So always try to stand out, basically. Yeah. And always propose ideas. Any ideas you have that you think would be beneficial for the organization itself, for the team, just say it. Yeah, that would be my advice. Isni, to you?
To be very honest, since my first day of internship until today, it's like since the current situation, it's like everyone is currently applying for jobs, getting rejected. Everyone currently applying for internships, getting rejected. So for me, it's actually like a self-discovery process, trying to figure out what I love, trying to figure out what I like, what kind of pathway that I'm currently creating. So for me, I bet a lot of people are actually resonates with me. If you're getting rejected for an interview or for a job that you're applying for, do not ever lose hope. Do not ever give up. Keep in mind in that every time you get rejected, another door is actually opening for you. Because in Islam we say rezeki semua di tangan Tuhan. and we're still young. You are never too late. You are never far behind, because you will always have your own lane. You will always have your own time, your own timekeeper, your own goals. So don't ever feel pressured, don't ever lose hope. Just know that you'll get there, and you'll get secure. So that's more of the psychology side of it.
Daniel, what about you?
I mentioned previously. Okay, it's okay. I'll just
Do you
let
have
you.
anything else to add on?
Yeah, I'll just add on one more thing. If you are aiming to work as an intern, make sure you do look up for companies that actually provide this 3 months, few weeks to 3 months internship, because they don't really, some of the companies, they would ask you to intern, to continue your job even after you finish your internship program. So make sure that you insist on having that certain period amount of time within your contract. Because if it's not written, then you have to work overtime. Yes, and for those who are going for contracts like me or full time, make sure you at least have a very strong, solid foundation on Excel, because Excel is the key to all business operations out there.
Excel is everything. Excel is everything. Dah tu je. Tutup cerita.
Yeah, guys, please do not, as a student, please do not underestimate Excel. Please, I can't emphasize this enough. I regret so much not going to all the Excel workshops and everything. So BAA, if you guys organize an Excel sheet, guys, please go. I'm not trying to promote BAA, but
Yeah, I wanted to give an idea. BAA should do an Excel workshop, Excel webinar.
yeah, exactly. Because honestly, it's so important for you to know Excel. Because when I came in as a HR executive, I even struggled to copy paste a whole column. Okay, so please, guys, please go and practice your Excel skills.
Coming soon. All right. Thank you very much, our dear alumni guests, for your time in this interactive session. It has been very informative and insightful. Hopefully, the audience did indeed take home something from this. We will now have a 10-minute break. Please do come back at 1:30 for the Q&A session with our alumni. Remember to do also stay on after the event, as we will announce the lucky draw winners. See you in 10 minutes.
Bye.
Hello everyone, we are back with the Q&A session. We will start with some questions that we have summarized and compiled from the Google Form event registration. Hold on a moment, please. Thank you. All right, the first question is, how long does it take for you to find a job or an internship after your graduation? Anis, you may start first.
Yep. Okay, sure. I think for me, maybe I got lucky. I'm very grateful for that. But I think I applied to Nestle. I really can't remember, but maybe I'd say June. I went in May, right? I think I applied at the end of April. Yeah, at the end of April or something, and I got it at the end of May. So I think in that sense, I got really lucky, which I'm very, very grateful for. Yeah, I got it very quickly actually. So yeah.
How about you, Izzy and Daniel?
For me, personally, it was quick. It was really short. So I think it really depends on the company, how long they will take to actually screen your resume and then do all the phone screening and the interviews. But mine was around, not really after my graduation, but after final exam. It was around probably 3 weeks or a month. Yeah. If you secure a job or intern within a month, that means it's a fast punya screening.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the same as well for Isni. I only took 3 months because right after my finals, I tried to apply for a few jobs. So if I remember correctly, it's on the second or third week of July, and I managed to close the job and start early on 2nd August of 2021. Yep.
I think speaking from a recruiter's point of perspective as well, it really depends on whether the company has a position for you. Because, sometimes during that month, we have a lot of HR positions. So a lot of people from HR will get recruited. With a HR background will get recruited. But some days, let's say this month, the marketing, you want to apply for a marketing internship, but we don't have a space for you in marketing. So I think it really also depends on the length it takes for you to get accepted. It really depends on the company as well, whether they have a position for you or not. Yeah.
Izzy, you mentioned about you getting a job during your final exam, and I think that's related to having a secured job. Do you think it's possible for us to do that?
It's really possible when you plan your time really well, because I remember I started my internship, my last day of examination was on Friday, and I started my internship on Monday. So that means you need to plan out your time. When is your job hunting punya phase? You need to roughly estimate your job hunting punya phase, your interview punya phase, how long, and then your commencement date, the day of your internship. So I think back to the point where you need to plan it out. So you need to plan it out so that you can secure a job with according to the timeline that you want. Yes.
Yeah, and in terms of doing an internship during studies, I think a lot of people have kind of 50-50 opinion about it. Some people are okay to manage. I know a lot of my friends who did internships every single semester, but some people are not able to cope as well. Like for me, I started my internship. It was a very rough time when I started my internship. I think I started it 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks or something? But basically,
Earlier.
sorry?
Earlier, right?
Yeah. Like I did my internship during my final year project submissions, during my final year exam. So I think it was kind of, in that sense, I think I didn't plan properly. I just kind of said, yes, I will come at this time, even though at that time I was very, very busy and hectic. So I think it really depends on you. And like Isni said just now, how you plan your career pathway. Yeah.
Yep. For me, I didn't need internship because I was a dual award student, and for those who are dual award, you technically don't want to put yourself in an internship situation where you have to get paid within this period of time and a very little amount of money because you have to travel and etc. So I took the opportunity to ask for a contract job, and it is possible for you to get a secured job only if you negotiate well with the HR and your boss. So make sure that if you are in a contract position, make sure that there is a chance for you to get a permanent job or transition yourself to a permanent employee within that few months of you working as a contractual worker or employee. Yep, that is my part.
Next question. How do you separate your feelings and emotions from difficult decisions? Do you have any tips to stop overthinking? Isni, I think you should answer this because especially you are from a psychology graduate, you will know how to deal with this.
Oh, when it comes to feelings, emotions, semua is me. Okay, I'm not sure whether this question actually pointing out to work related or actually personal life, but the ways are actually pretty similar. So how do you separate your feelings and emotions from difficult decisions? And do you have any tips to stop overthinking? Okay, feelings and emotions are very just subjective. So whenever you are indulged with a lot of emotions, whether it's sadness or whether it's overthinking, you need to actually find the root cause or find the actual reason why are you feeling this way. So when you actually tackle what are the root cause and what the actual reason, you can actually label the root cause and reason, whether it is necessary for you to actually overthink and is it necessary for you to actually feeling this way. So sometimes when for example, sometimes I do realize I'm feeling indulged in such emotions, I'm feeling overthinking, but then I'm trying to find the root cause and the reason, and sometimes I feel this is so unnecessary, I shouldn't feel this way. But sometimes you need to validate your feelings and you need to just just feel the current feelings that you are feeling. So but sometimes you need just to layan your feelings so that after a while you get over it. And you cannot deny and you cannot invalidate your feelings because it's really important for you to acknowledge it. So after you acknowledge it, make sure you find the root cause and the reason, and then you label whether the root cause and reason is necessary or unnecessary for you to actually feel that way. Yeah.
Can I just say I agree with Isni like that. I think in terms of feelings and emotions, I either have no feelings at all or I just feel everything. So I think I agree with what Isni said. It's to always ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And what was your second point? It was a very good second point. But yeah, the second point that Isni said.
It's the finding label the root cause whether it's necessary.
Yes, that one I agree.
Shazwan, he's asking whether let it flow. Yes, you need to let your feelings flow, but you cannot really macam layan lama sangat. If you layan lama sangat, you punya kerja and everything takkan jalan. Your life will be like berterabur. So make sure you give yourself some time to actually acknowledge and figure out what you're feeling. For me, maximum probably a day or 2 days. After that, kalau I still feeling this way, that means I need to do something. But if you're pretending macam you're making your feelings macam float lama sangat, it will affect you somehow. So when it affects you more than 1 week, that means you're already depressed. Symptoms. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
Last
surprised you
question.
said depressed. Because I'm sorry, because in my case, if you have emotional troubles, you have to solve it as soon as possible, because if you don't rectify your own problems, yet as you said, your work won't work, it won't progress, and you will end up delaying so many things, not only for you but also for the team. So yes, I agree on that fact, but I'm surprised for the word depressed. So yeah, in my case, if you want to separate your feelings and emotions on doing a task, you have to this goes both ways, whether you are doing your work for assignments, whether you're doing your work for under a company, corporate corp, you have to learn to acknowledge, take hold of the accountability and fix the issue that started the issue in the first place. So sometimes you think, oh, I did a mistake to a friend or a colleague or to my work, and right now I have to fix it. But maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that, maybe then that's where you start overthinking. But try to not overlap your overthinking, and you already rectify the problem, you already rectify the issue. Just try to keep your head straight and find the fastest way for you to overcome that problem without making a big deal out of it. That's from my perspective, because for e-commerce, if you are late to work or anything, you did mistake to a merchant, you have to rectify the issue and validate that you won't do it again, and you understand that that is a concept where you can't make a mistake on that procedure, and you have to make sure in the future you don't do the same mistake over and over again. That's all.
I agree. That's very true.
Mm.
Sorry, due to time constraints, we need to speed things up a bit. Last question from Google Form. Was there anything in your journey that you wish you could have done differently? Anis, you may start first.
I think I tend to not look back at how things went, because I believe that, things happen for a reason. Whether I did something or did not do something in the past, it really happened for a reason. And, whatever I did or did not do in the past, it has led me to where I am today, which is I'm happy, I'm content. I've become mentally strong with a lot of things. But the only thing, which is something I've said 3 times at this talk, is something that I wish I did before I started my internship, was focus towards Excel. Macam okay lah, but to some people this may not be a big thing, but for me, who started a role as a HR executive, Excel and playing around with data, knowing what to do with the data is so important, because you are, as a HR, we have confidential information. We have to know how to get to data urgently. So it's really important for you to know how to handle your data in order, okay, let's say your boss says, Anis, I need this. You're not taking one whole day just to go through every single Excel sheet. You know how to work efficiently on the Excel. So I think, okay lah, let's not say towards Excel so much, but know how to work more efficiently. Don't work smart. Don't work hard, work smart. Work smart. That is so important. Yeah. Practice working smart, practice being efficient, practice how to be more proactive and so on. Yeah. I think that's one thing you should always keep in mind. Yeah.
I would say I wouldn't say I have anything that I wish I could have done differently, because I believe that everything, like Annie said, everything happens for a reason. If I say like, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, it's like I'm regretting my current situation. I'm regretting what I did for the past. So in a sense that I feel like whatever I do in the past and today, it will lead me somewhere. It lead me where am I today, and it will benefit me in the future in a way. So something that everyone needs to keep in mind is that keep your mind open, be positive, be hopeful and optimistic all the time.
Don't worry about what you did in the past. Live in the moment. That's so important. Live in the moment. It's like a very cliche song lyric kind of sentence, right? But honestly, you should live in the moment. Don't think about what you did or what you didn't do, about all your dark days or all that. Don't. Just look at today. Take things one day at a time. Yeah.
That is correct. Especially the day before the night when you want to sleep. That's when you start to overthink, because you wish you can turn back time and fix all the problems. So yeah, please don't overthink. Make sure that there's a proper rest for you when you start to overthink, because on the next day you'll eventually solve the problem. If not today, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the day after that. So please learn to control your emotions. When you start to work, you have to be focused. It's not about emotions anymore, it's about focus. And yeah, I think that's all of the questions, right? Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure whether sempat ke tak nak jawab.
Another 5 questions.
Another
from
5
the chat
questions.
box. Yes. That wraps up from our Google Form registration. The next question is, Shafika asked, how are we supposed to balance studies and joining clubs? Isni, you may take over.
I think I can give some sort of hope to everyone that if I can do it, you can too. So back in my presidential term, I wasn't just a president, but also was I was in the dance club. I danced for all events in the university. I also held other events under the presidential term. So and I managed to, alhamdulillah, I managed to ace my studies. So for me, if I can do it, you can too. So it's just a matter of, I know not everyone is such a planner, but you need to divide your time wisely with your studies and your club activities. So your club activities would be like, I can't remember when pukul berapa kita selalu buat our club activities, but usually it's like after class 5 till 7, all the meetings is after that, and sometimes we have night meetings. So it's just a matter of how you divide your time wisely with your studies and your other commitments. But I'm sure everyone can do it. It's just a matter of dividing your time, plan it properly.
And interest. Make sure when you enter a club, it's not because, oh, I need to be active. You need to be interested in the club. Okay, even if it's just one club, it's okay. It's fine. Organize things with the club. Don't go into 5 clubs just because you feel like, oh, I need to be active. No, please always go into something based on your interest, not on what you feel like you need to, not based on the expectations you feel you need to meet. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That is correct, because it's coming from 2 club leaders who previously carried all the students.
I was only in one club, volleyball club. Yeah, that's only your interest. Don't go into suddenly you cannot dance. You never want to dance, and suddenly you go into dance club. Don't like that.
Yes. So yeah, for me, if you want to manage clubs and also your working life, or let's say studying, make sure that at least there is someone for you to tag along with. Because if not, you'll get bored in the club, or you have specific interest, then that would be better. Yep, that's my part.
Jyotam also asked, what are the techniques that you have used to ensure that you were not burned out or overwhelmed during work?
I go for a run.
Oh, is it with the question is, what do we do to not feel burnt out? Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I go hiking. That's important. I think one thing is to you've been on your laptop all day long. You've been at the office all day long. Get off your phone. Don't keep. You just throw away your phone. Throw away your phone. Throw your laptop. Go outside. Breathe
Connect
in all
with
the fresh
nature.
air. Yes,
Yeah.
be with nature. It's so important. I think ever since I started internship, ever since I started working, that's when I really started to go into nature. I spent 2 days at least in the jungle. So, just do anything except for look at your phone and your emails, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, either you eat your stress away or you sit outside from your house. So you get to stare at the sky or something relevant to nature. Yeah, because too much computer can hurt your eyes, right? Yeah.
Yes, correct. But in addition, if you don't feel bad if you sleep all the whole day, it's actually you need sleep. Sebab even during weekdays, even though you get enough sleep 8 hours pun, it doesn't really, it's not a quality sleep tau. So because your body is still tired. So during the weekends, if you need to sleep, just sleep.
If it's
Yeah.
like really bad, make sure you take a holiday.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people deal with burnout differently. Like me, I prefer to go hiking and all that. But some people just literally just want to lounge at home, don't mandi or that, which is totally fine. I think there's no answer. There's not really any specific answer to being productive. You could be doing nothing and you're still productive because you're re-energizing for the next week. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really based on what you feel that makes you happy. Yeah.
Recharging.
Recharging. Yes, that's the word. Yeah.
There's a question in for Daniel Abbas. This is from Israfel Ayman. He
Mhm.
said, Abbas, since you're in the e-commerce industry, we have seen that Lazada is falling back from Shopee drastically as of now. Are there any other e-commerce platforms that are growing rapidly that you suggest?
Okay, before I project which is the best e-commerce, currently Shopee is always the best e-commerce in Malaysia. Not being biased here, but because of the interface that seller can sell and how your products get to reach on the market. But you can't really compare those two e-commerce individually based solely on the sales profit growth, etc. Because you have to look towards its merchants. Some merchants, they have more flexibility when they sell in Lazada. Some merchants, they have more flexibility to sell in Shopee. So in this case, if you ask something other than Shopee and Lazada, I have to ask you back the question. Would you want your brand name to be there, visible in the website or not? Because some merchants, they sell their products without their brand name. Some merchants, they sell their products with brand names or brand logo. Some, they have their own page. So Shopify, they have their own website. Webten, they have their own website. Qten, Talkopedia. So you can't really cut down on the information. So yeah. I hope that explains well.
This question is for Anis. Alif said, hi Anis, as in Nestle Malaysia perspective, what are the latest CSR program that has been held so far? And how do Nestle promote their sustainability practices?
Okay, so first is the CSR projects, right? Okay, so actually recently, last weekend, I think it was last weekend, I actually just went to the beach cleanup. It's a beach cleanup in Banting. So that was really nice. They actually we have a corporate affairs team. So they are the ones organizing all the CSR lah. So we have beach cleanups, we have tree planting, which is happening next month, if I'm not mistaken. Next month. So that's another thing to look forward to. But they always have like little activities like eco bricks activities. So eco bricks is basically they give a few bottles to employees, or the employees just take any bottles like Coke bottles or F&N bottles or so on, and they just shove all the recyclable plastics inside those bottles to make bricks. Don't know what they do with it, but it's they do all these small activities to kind of be part of the CSI initiatives. And then the second one was what? Sustainable. How do they
Sustainability.
promote
And how do you
sustainability?
promote your practices?
Okay, so that one, not only through the CSR projects that I mentioned before, but they also through our packaging. I think our packaging team is going through a lot right now. They're trying to make sure that at least how many percentage a certain percentage by 2030 is all sustainable. Yeah. So I think the packaging team, especially are the ones hard at work right now to make sure that a lot of our packaging reaches that vision in 2030. So yeah, packaging, CSR projects, the way we do activities at the office. For example, if we have events or gatherings at the office, it is important that you only order from vendors who use sustainable packaging. So no plastic containers, no non-recyclable containers. It's important for us to practice ordering food for lunch, whether it's for lunch even, from places that only use like paper packaging or any sustainable packaging of that sort. So
Bring
I
your
think
own
a lot.
container.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, some of us also bring our own containers and just cook in the microwaves and so on. So it's not only in our events and activities, CSR activities, but also through our packaging as well as our practices in general as a workforce. Yeah.
Last question is from Alan Roy. There are sources that suggest that creativity is becoming more and more in demand in the workplace. Has this been true in your experience so far? And how is workplace creativity like in practice? Any of you could answer it?
I think this with Anis' point tadi, right?
Yeah.
Reaching out.
Because I think a lot of companies are demanding for creative heads because things are evolving. The organization is starting to accommodate our generation, our younger generation. We can't keep practicing what they did before. We kind of have to think of better things. So I think in that sense, that's why creativity is so important. One of the things recruiters look for the most in new talent is how creative they can be, what kind of ideas they can really contribute to the organization to develop, that sort of thing. Yeah, creativity is super duper important in resumes. So if you're really creative, put that in your resume.
In a way, if you have new ideas for innovation, they will definitely take you because you can contribute to the company.
Yep. Creativity is a very big contribution, to be honest. Yeah.
Unless your task is similar to mine, because mine is very direct, very consistent. There's not much creativity to put in unless you are creative enough to find solutions to make things faster and better. Yep, that's from my side.
Those have all been really interesting questions. Thank you for being very engaging with the alumni guests and taking this opportunity to make the best out of it. And we're really sorry that we couldn't answer all of your questions due to time constraints. But thank you very much to our IUMW alumni guests for being here today and sharing so much beneficial information that has really been helpful for us young, ambitious people that strive for a purpose. That concludes our event for today. Everyone, please do switch on your cameras for a photo session. Smile, we appreciate it. Aisha?
Bukalah kamera, tak pernah tengok budak-budak baru.
Yeah, these are all new names.
Everyone is
everyone.
encouraged to turn on your cameras, please. Okay. Okay, I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Peace. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And that concludes our session. Please stay for a few minutes as we are about to announce the lucky draw winners soon. Please also give us your feedback for the event today. We would love to hear from you so that we can improve our future events. The link is in Zoom and YouTube chat box. Please check it out. Please give us a few moments. Thank you. Now on to the winners announcement. Drum roll, please. Congratulations to
Mana ni?
congratulations to both of you. Dear lucky draw winners, please do check your email actively as we will contact you and provide the prize soon in a few days. And that wraps up our BAA Talkopedia stories from IUMW Alumni. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks
you,
everyone for
bye-bye.
joining in. And thanks BA for having us.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for giving us your time today.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.